Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time, the finals of the Justin TV Invitational, featuring Root Catz spawning as the Yellow Zerg, and his opponent for this series will be PPG Bubbles spawning as the Teal Protoss. This first map is actually going to be an IC Cup map, so it's not in the Blizzard map pool. IC Cup, the guys who made a lot of the Brood War maps, and many of the maps were ported over. This map, IC Cup Valhalla, very interesting map. And a lot of tournaments are starting to use these IC Cup and custom maps. Some people are very unhappy with the map selection that Blizzard's given us so far. Even GSL announcing that they will soon be changing maps, as we see Bubbles placing down a pylon at the bottom of this ramp, and we can talk a little bit about the different terrain on the map here, as there is a natural at the bottom of the ramp. And he may be hoping to fast expand here, and there's actually a minerals only third base, which is very close. So with the choke points here, you can get a pretty decent defense going and get these three bases up and running. So every base has these three mineral or expansion locations, and then between each of the bases, along the north, west, south, and east parts of the map, are also another set of bases, sort of like Metalopolis between the two starting locations. There's also a starting location in each of the corners. So I imagine that players can macro up pretty easily on this map, especially with those choke points. And unlike Metalopolis, where if you were in these close positions like Catz and Bubbles are, Catz could not expand toward his opponent. He's actually going to be able to expand away from his opponent. It looks like Bubbles scouting Catz's location last, and is going to see this hatchery's already up, going to be dropping two pylons at the bottom of the ramp. Again, in the new patch, they're changing a lot of the ramps so that you're going to actually need three buildings to wall off, but right now, two pylons will do it, and he does look like have a forge complete here. Again, perhaps hoping to fast expand himself, and dropping a cannon, so Catz is not going to be able to finish this hatchery, may have to cancel it. There's a lot of things you can do against the pylons in the cannon. You can try to get up banelings, you can try to get some probes to take down the pylons, or at least one of them before the cannon does come up. Or you can try to get roaches up. Again, the banelings or the roaches, a bit of a delayed response. Catz having to cancel that hatchery, and it looks like he's now throwing down a proxy hatchery. I was just going to click on that to say that there was a drone in the base of Bubbles, but he's going to use that drone, creating a proxy hatch, and Bubbles is going to see it right away. So wonder how he's going to respond to this. Again, he only has the one pylon at this point and the one forge, so it's not like he can make another pylon and cannon in Catz before Catz can get this up. Looks like his response is going to be to get a gateway down, perhaps trying to get out a zealot or two, maybe even chrono boost them. So we see that the drones trying to take on the probes here. Catz actually had a number of minerals. Maybe he was going to throw up a second proxy hatch, sneaking this drone in here, but Bubble's going to put a stop to that pretty quickly. And now going to get that gas, perhaps try to tech up a bit. We see he does have the three pylons here. Using this third pylon, you put your probe right there, you place a pylon, and it allows your probe to shimmy up the ramp. So he does have a probe in the base of Catz. He's going to be able to see this roach warren, and I imagine as soon as this hatchery pops, we may see some roaches start streaming out. The gateway is done for Bubbles. He's getting down a zealot, so chrono boosting that out, hoping to get it to that hatchery, start doing some damage. We see a gas steal by Catz, so going to try to delay the tech of Bubbles. Bubbles spending a lot of minerals here, and I like this placement. He's got photon cannons guarded by other buildings, so no Zerglings are going to be able to get to those cannons, but Catz is going for roaches, so those roaches are going to be able to take on the gateways. And again, when the roach range changed from 3 to 4, it's going to allow them to outrange these type of wall-offs where you have a building in front of a cannon. Cannon has a range of 7, so the roaches are actually going to be able to stay back and take down gateways and cybernetic scores if they are in front of those cannons. Looks like we have Bubbles doing his best, pulling off a number of probes and zealots. He really wants to protect this pylon. It's powering one of his gateways right now, and so very important that he continues to get units out of those gateways to start matching the numbers of Catz's units. Catz getting an inject in on the hatchery there, so you're going to have about 40 every 40 seconds, an extra 4 of those larvae are going to pop out, and roaches are pretty cheap in the early going here. He's got decent saturation back in his base, got the one gas going. Roaches are cheap gas wise. He was able to take down that pylon, so Bubbles just has one gateway working right now, and he's going to try to get out Stalkers. They are a great counter to early game roaches here. Before the roaches do have speed, the Stalkers are faster than them. They have 6 range compared to the 4 of the roaches. So Bubbles needs to be really active here trying to pick off these roaches. And again, the roaches just going to stay along the outside of the base here. The cannons cannot get to them as long as they keep good range. And we see a spine crawler going down, and it was taken down by Bubbles, so you're going to stop this spread of spines. But more and more roaches coming in. If we check the army tab, it is 825 to 125. Bubbles is also psi-capped, so having to pull off a number of probes here, trying to do some damage against these roaches. But the roaches are armored. They have about 1 armor, so probes not doing a lot of damage against them, and they just have so much health. Probes do much better against those zerglings, but Roach is pretty probe-proof, and he's just going to start picking off gateways. So we see the cybernetic score being chrono boosted out. If he can get up that warp gate tech on 3 or 4 gates, he might be able to start massing an army of stalkers that can take on these roaches. It looks like Catz expanding to his own natural now. And again, the roaches coming from his base, they were able to break out the out of that cannon contain, and now taking down those extra buildings of Bubbles, just in case he does decide to try to get a pylon down there to power those again. Looks like Catz doing his best to take down gateway after gateway. Now just down to 2 working gates is Bubbles. He just finishes his warp gate tech, but another gateway about to go down, so he'll soon be on 1 warp gate, trying to get up another one. He's got very high minerals, just not been able to spend. In comes the 1 stalker off that warp gate, and now just 2 stalkers to take on all these roaches. It's 10 roaches there. He's got a number of spine crawlers as well. He's got that queen placing down a creep tumor, so he will soon be spreading the creep into his opponent's base. And Bubbles in this first game hoped to do a cannon contain against Catz, but Catz completely reversed it, and now almost containing Bubbles. You see Bubbles has everything very close to home here, and he's got a very high chrono. Nothing you can really spend it on. He's got the 2 gates, so he should be chronoing these out and trying to get his stalker numbers up and microing his stalkers best he can. Again, the roaches do not have speed yet. We just finally see a lair coming from Catz, so he should be able to dance around these roaches, but these spine crawlers also going to be quite problematic. Another 2 coming in as they will uproot themselves and move into a better position to take on these warp gates. So the roaches just being stalker control at this point, trying to take or control the gateway units of Bubbles while the spine crawlers go to town on these warp gates. Another warp gate about to go down, a second one about to go down as well, so he'll soon be on 1 gate. He's got a decent number of troops, so if he needs to push out here, perhaps with all of his probes and these troops before Catz can do any sort of more macro. Looks like Catz has another 4 roaches on the way. I feel like this is Bubbles' one opportunity perhaps to be able to defend against this, as he's got a decent number of troops trying to get up that cybernetics core, but every moment which goes by makes Catz stronger and stronger. Bubbles weaker and weaker, finally pulling off here, shows some zerglings too, does Catz. Another spine crawler going down, and now looks like he's going to be going all in, trying to take down all these photon cannons. Bubbles really needs to attack together with these photon cannons. He cannot allow those to go down without using his units to attack as well. At this point, when you're in trouble like that, you really need to rally all your probes, all your units, and your photon cannons, get him attacking all at once, and that'll give you your best shot. If Catz was able to pick off those cannons, and then pick off the units, the stalkers and the zealots, and then pick off the probes separately, that's not a lot of chance you're really giving yourself. So, very interesting game. We see that Bubbles, again, tried to get down those cannons and the pylons, and in fact did, and canceled Catz's natural, but Catz got up that proxy hatch in the base of Bubbles and then totally reversed it. Oftentimes in PvZ we think of the Protoss player trying to contain the Zerg player, but in this case Catz contained his opponent Bubbles, and Bubbles had everything so close to home there. Catz was just harassing him non-stop, really turned the tables on him, made for quite an interesting first game here, and it'll be a best of 5 series. So Catz so just a crazy player. He's going to do this sort of thing, and Bubbles, after this first game, I imagine he will not be doing any sort of cannon contains again as the series moves forward. I'll go ahead and bring you game 2 of this series, cast the whole thing on my channel, Matron StarCraft, youtube.com. So thanks for watching this one. Take care.